what's up? Welcome to the Armor Up Podcast, where we acknowledge the supernatural and discuss the entities behind current events from a biblical point of view. The Bible tells us that Satan is the god of this world, that he comes to kill and destroy. But when we sit up with the armor of God, we are able to annihilate the powers of darkness. Armor up. This means war. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. While accusations of satanic abuse have repeatedly been found to be substantiated and allegations proven, the masses have begun to wake up to the very real satanic rituals performed and orchestrated by an elite cult of Hollywood Satanists. Satan's aim? To morally subvert society by brainwashing and indoctrinating young people. So, I still find myself watching and reading some of the mainstream news, and I'll tell you why. Yes, I know that Satan is literally running the show. I know that he's behind it all. But it's like reading the enemy's playbook. What are they pushing on the masses? What are they trying to push here? So Victor Shira, a 59-year-old man, has just made the mainstream news. So Victor Shira, a 59-year-old man in Tennessee, woke up one morning to see that his roommate had a demon face. 3 years later, Victor still sees demon faces everywhere he goes. Of course, Victor is horrified. He claims that his life is like a horror movie. When he left his apartment to walk his dog in Clarksville, Tennessee, everyone he saw had a demon face, and he strongly considered putting himself in a psychiatric ward. I was roughly freaking out at this point. I was going to go have myself committed, Victor says. While images replicating the demon faces are disturbing, the reality of watching people walking and talking with this face is much more traumatic than the pictures could ever convey. Now, scientists are saying that this demon face syndrome, this prosopagnosia, or PMO, is a visual affliction, exceedingly rare affliction, with 75 cases reported. And they say this condition visually distorts faces every time the sufferer looks at a person. They say this condition affects the eye shape, size, color, and all the positions of the facial features. Now, this condition is said to last for days, weeks, or even years. Now, the patients claim that these distortions on the face severely stretch the features of the face with deep grooves in the forehead, cheeks, and chin. They all use the same words to describe what they are seeing, which is very interesting. They use the words demonic, satanic, monsters. Now, very, very interesting is that when these patients look at a computer screen or a piece of paper, there are no distortions. And also looking at objects, when the sufferer looks at objects, he or she simply sees the object. There's no distortions whatsoever. They can look upon the face of another person on a computer screen or paper, and it's fine. It's just the face. There are no distortions. And I'll just call it what they call it for short, the demon face syndrome. Now, Victor Shira is the man that made the news recently, but this would lead me to find another case, this other woman diagnosed with the same medical condition, demon face syndrome. Prosopomorphosia. In July 2011, a 52-year-old woman presented to our psychiatric outpatient clinic in The Hague with a lifelong history of seeing people's faces change into dragon-like faces and hallucinating similar faces many times a day. She could perceive and recognize actual faces, but after several minutes, they turned black, grew long, pointy ears, and a protruding snout, and displayed a reptiloid skin and huge eyes in bright yellow, green, blue, or red. She saw similar dragon-like faces drifting towards her many times a day from the walls, electrical sockets, or the computer screen, in both the presence and absence of face-like patterns. And at night, she saw many dragon-like faces in the dark. During her childhood, the faces had not bothered her, but in early adolescence, they became more prominent, and she realized that this was not how other people saw each other's faces. She felt isolated, became depressed, and abused alcohol for many years, but managed to graduate from secondary school, get married, have a daughter, and become a school administrator. Her difficulty sustaining stable perception of other people's faces led to communication problems and recurrent conflicts, forcing her to change jobs often. But she sought professional help only after further deterioration of her symptoms. A local psychiatrist prescribed medications with no improvement. In desperation, she searched the internet for experts. Her medical history consisted of recurrent non-migrainous headaches, urinary tract infections, sensed presence, passage hallucinations, and a mildly depressed mood. Psychiatric assessment showed no other abnormalities. So I mentioned that one of the symptoms of this PMO, this medical condition for this woman is sensed presence. Now, you probably don't know what that is because I didn't either, but it is exactly as it sounds, a sensed presence. I didn't know it was a medical diagnosis. I didn't know it was a symptom, but sure, they've got to put a name to it, right? Because then you'll think, hey, this is normal. So, sensed presence is a feeling or sense that another entity, individual, or being is present despite no clear sensory or perceptual evidence. Another symptom that they go on to mention for this woman's PMO, her medical condition, is passage hallucinations. Passage hallucinations, again, is another phenomenon that happens that I did not know they had a medical term for. Guys, they have thought of it all. Everything to normalize the spiritual and the demonic. So, passage Hallucinations is, again, something else you see when ghost hunting, investigating the paranormal. Okay, I myself have experienced this particular phenomenon. Okay, movement at the corner of the eye. That is passage hallucinations. So I'm pointing out the diagnosis and the symptoms in her medical history that are directly in line with demonic oppression and possession to um, to convey to you why I believe these are real demonic manifestations that they are prepping the masses for. Now, if you've ever looked or watched these ghost haunting investigations or these cryptid investigations, now I get into the cryptid investigations. Over and over again, you will see that many people that will go on to podcast and give their experience or their encounter with a cryptid, they many times will tell you that they felt something was there with them. They felt something was looking at them. And then lo and behold, a few minutes later, they see what they felt looking at them. And so many times it starts with the feeling that someone is watching you or someone is there with you. This happens over and over again. Now, our conscience, okay, science, con means with, science means knowledge. All right, our conscience is God given. So we are born with knowledge. Now, you know how you walk into a room, you feel someone's looking at you, so you look up and in that direction, and then look, there really is someone looking at you. But you could have looked here, there, anywhere to look for this person that is looking at you, but you looked up and you looked straight at the one that was looking at you. That is our conscience, our God given knowledge from birth at work right there. And that is how our spirit knows that we're being looked at. We can feel another spirit looking at us. So, they're saying this is just a medical condition. And this is again why I believe, no, this is a demonic manifestation. They are preparing us for these manifestations to rise up. So they're going ahead and putting out this narrative about this medical condition and, conditioning us, getting us ready to experience these things and sweep them under the rug. So let me tell you my quick experience. I used to work at a hospital and I would go in at 11 p.m. and I'd get off at 7 a.m. the next morning. After only a few months of being employed at this hospital, it was the middle of the night and I was sitting on the side of the hall reading my book in between runs. And so I was reading my book and I kept seeing what looked to be a short figure. It was black, but it was smoky. And even though it was smoky, it was in the shape of a robe, just a black robe. You know how they say death looks, with the tall figure with the black robe? Well, this is what this looked like, but it wasn't tall. It was short. It was about 3 foot tall. And you could see it gliding off the ground. It was about 1.5 feet off the ground, and it would just glide back and forth, back and forth. Okay, just a black, smoky, robed figure. And every time I would snap my head real fast to look at it, it would be gone. But if I didn't try to look at it, if I would just look straight on at my book, I could sit there and watch it in my peripheral vision, and you could see it. You could see the whole figure. Well, my partner that night on that particular hall that we were working on, she saw me as I kept snapping my head to look down there at the end of the hall where I saw this figure. And she looked up at me and she said, "I know what you see." And so she said, "Hold on, don't tell me what you saw. I'm going to go get a pen and a piece of paper, and I'm going to draw the figure that you see." And so I'm very curious at this point. She walks over there to me. She gives me the paper where she has drawn a short robed figure gliding off the ground. And my mouth just dropped open. This is my first ever, that I know of, supernatural experience. And, I was already curious about the supernatural, but now I'm just crazy about it. Like, I want to know more, all that you can know. That's my mindset. Why not know everything that you can know about something? You've got the propagandized mainstream news, and they're telling you that, look, people are seeing demonic faces, and this is getting to be more and more. But don't worry, in case this happens to you. We'll just put you on medication. See, this has a medical name. It's professional. It's got a medical name. And so you don't have to worry about this. You're not really seeing this horrific spiritual activity. You're not seeing demons. No worries. Don't call out to Jesus, whatever you do. We'll put you on some medication. You can go back to sleep. You're still going to see demonic faces, by the way. The medication doesn't heal that. Hey guys, thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy making it. I love talking end-time prophecy, cryptids, the paranormal, anything proceeding to the Bible. So if you found this content interesting, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, go check out my channel. I have plenty more coming. Alright guys, that's going to be it. Armor up, church. The supernatural is real, and this is war.